This is Alex Floor here doing problem 1 of test 1 for the test wrapper. This question says a neutral rod made of an unknown material is brought near a charged metal sphere. The rod is held by a rubber insulator supports. That means it has, touching the rod has no effect on it. One end of the rod touches the metal sphere and then the rod is pulled away. You bring a negatively charged piece of tape near the rod and observe the tape is repelled. The tape is repelled no matter what part of the rod you hold the tape near. Which means if you bring a negatively charged piece of tape near the rod and it is repelling, because like things repel, you know the rod is negative. So we're saying, is the rod a conductor? And the answer to that is true. Yes, the rod is conductor because it conducts metal when the sphere is brought near it. The next question says, the rod has a net positive charge after touching the metal sphere. And that's no, it doesn't have a net positive charge. If it did have a net positive charge, the tape would have been attracted to the rod. The next question says, the magnitude of the charge of the metal ball is lower after the rod touches it. And yes, that is true because there are more negatively charged particles there, meaning the magnitude is lower. So that's false. Yes, that is true. The next one is that the electrons flowed from the metal sphere to the rod while they were in contact. And that is also true, yes, because as the electrons flowed from the metal sphere to make it negative, that's what made it negative. That's why the magnitude of the charge is also lower. So to recap for part A, the answers are true, false, true, true. The next part of the question says, while touching the rod, chloride ions Cl from the salt water on your skin moved onto the rods. And no, that's not true. You don't have, the chloride ions don't move. The next question says, while touching the rod, sodium ions Na from the salt water on your skin move onto the rod. And yes, that's true, because if it's a negatively charged rod, the positives can be attracted. And as we saw in the lab experiment we did, after a while, once we charge the tape charge would wear off, and that is exactly because sodium ions from the salt water on your skin were moving onto the tape. So that is true. The next one says, electrons from the mobile electron C in your hands move onto the rods. No, that's not true. The electrons aren't moving, they're on. The next one says, electrons from the mobile electron C on the rod moved into the mobile electron C in your hand. And again, that's not true. Mobile electron Cs are with metals, and we're not a metal. The next one says, protons are pulled from the nuclei of the atom in your hands and moved onto the rod. We know that's false because protons can't move. They're in the nucleus, they're not going anywhere. Electrons are what is moved or shared by elements. And it says, and the next one says, protons are pulled out of the nuclei of your hand in the rod and moved onto your hand. That is false for the same reason as before. Protons don't move. To recap for that section, it is false, true, false, 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 false. Thank you.